Class 6. Today I am going to send you the second part of life under the Mauryas. And we are going to start with taxation, and then we are going to do society under the Mauryas. Now, taxation. Agriculture was the main source of revenue. Revenue is the money collected by the government. The rate of land revenue varied from region to region. The rate of land revenue, that is the land tax, it varied. It was different from one region to another region, depending on the quality of land. Now, whether a land was fertile, whether it produced a lot of crops, whether it was not very good, it did not produce so many crops, according to that, whatever the income the farmer had, according to that, the land tax was based. The rate ranged from one-fourth to one-sixth of the produce, based on the land of each individual cultivator, not on the village as a whole. It was based on the individual cultivators produce. It was not based on the village as a whole. Whatever the individual cultivator produced, according to that, according to his income, the tax was based, and not on the village to which he belonged. Water for irrigation was regulated by the government. The government took care of the water which was given for irrigation to the farmers. Now, Arthashastra also refers to a water tax. According to the Arthashastra, there was a water tax too. Chandragupta ordered the construction of a dam across the river near Girnar in Saurashtra, resulting in a large lake. You know what is a dam? Where the water is kept safely. Yes, the water which is coming, a dam is constructed so that the water, it is a sort of a very big reservoir. So Chandragupta, he ordered the construction of a dam, and then it resulted in a large lake. Besides land revenue, besides the land tax, other major sources of revenue were customs, sales tax, and taxes on crafts and trade. Taxes on crafts and trade, whatever trade a person did, whatever kind of a craft he produced, and there was a tax on sales tax also. Whatever you bought, according to that, a sales tax was put on it, levied on it. Taxes were used for maintaining the army. Now, the money which was collected by the government, it was used for maintaining the army, for implementing welfare measures, and for payment of salaries to officials. Welfare measures, I told you what are welfare measures. We just did in the last class, like construction of roads, looking after the irrigation system. Yes, welfare measures, hospitals, libraries, educational institutions. So these are all welfare measures. So the government collected the money from the taxes and it spent on this, and even to salaries of officials, and also for maintaining the army. Now, customs is a regular dealing with a shop or business by customers. Customs means custom taxes, regular dealing. Customs means regular dealing with a shop or business by customers. Kautilya states in Arthashastra that taxation could suitably be managed only by an efficient team of officers. So there was a special team of officers who took care of these taxes. Like we have the income tax officer, the sales tax officer, the commercial tax officer, isn't it? So in the same way, the Kautilya states that according to the Arthashastra, there was an efficient team of officers who took care of these taxes. These officers were placed in various departments, in different departments, and were paid high salaries. Tax collection was also subject to royal inspection and checks. So tax collection, so that they did not do any corruption, these officers. So these were inspected, tax collection was inspected, and at regular intervals, there was a check on these officers. All these officers, they took care of different departments, and they were paid very high salaries. Now, what kind of a society did we have under the Mauryas? According to the various source materials like Indika, Mauryan society was divided on the basis of professions. Professions are the kind of work you did. So Mauryan society was divided on the basis of profession, the kind of work you did. The scholars are the people who are very learned, especially Brahmins. They had a high position in society, and they were appointed to very high posts by the rulers. The Brahmins, they were considered to be scholars at that time, very well read, and they were appointed to very high posts by the rulers. They, along with the Jain and Buddhist monks, paid no taxes. Along with the Jain and Buddhist monks, these Brahmins, they paid no taxes. Below them were all other categories like government officials, soldiers, merchants, craftsmen, and farmers. Below these Brahmins, there were the other categories of the soldiers, the business class people, the craftsmen, and farmers. And these Brahmins, along with the Jain and Buddhist monks, paid no taxes to the government. They were exempted from it. The majority of the people were farmers. Mostly people were farmers at that time, who either cultivated their own field or tilled the king's land. At that time, majority of the people, they were farmers. So they used to cultivate their own field, or they used to till the land of the farmers, or they used to they used to till the land of the king. Till means to prepare and cultivate land for crops. Till means to prepare and cultivate land for crops. The villages had a population of shepherds and herdsmen as well. Herdsmen and shepherds were also there in the villages. Artisans like carpenters. Artisans are people who are carpenters, weavers, metal workers, and potters. They lived in both urban and rural areas. All these people, carpenters, metal workers, potters, they lived in both villages and in towns and cities. As trade and commerce flourished, merchants and as trade and commerce flourished, merchants and traders, they traveled to all corners of the empire and beyond. Now, as trade was flourishing at that time, the country was becoming very prosperous and they were gaining money out of it. So, trade and commerce was flourishing. It was gaining heights. So, at that time, the traders, the business people, they traveled outside the country also and inside the country and the empire. Commerce is the activity of buying and selling. Commerce means the activity of buying and selling. And artisan is a skilled worker. Artisan, like they have said, artisans like carpenters. So artisan is a skilled worker who makes things by hand. Artisan is a skilled worker who makes things by hand. And potter is a person who makes articles out of fired clay. He makes articles out of fired clay. So because for trade and commerce, the business class people, they travel to all corners of the empire and also beyond that. Since the modern kings maintained a large and well-paid standing army, many men were employed as soldiers. As we know that the modern kings, they were very generous, and whether it was wartime or it was peace, the army was well maintained and well paid. So there was a large number of soldiers and they were very well paid. Civil servants who worked for the central and the provincial administrations were respected members of society. Now, civil servants are the civil officers who work for central and for provincial administrations. They were also respected in the society. Provincial means main administrative division of a country or empire. Provincial means main administrative division of a country or empire. That is the meaning of province. So provincial is related to that. So now this was the second part of life under the Mauryas, and I've already sent you the first part, children. I've given you some important meanings also. Just go through this video, and the boys who have missed the class, they will understand the chapter well. Bye bye and stay safe, children. Have a nice day.